Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and here we are checking out something that I bought for the USA made budget knife video under $100. So this is under $100, and it's almost all the way USA made. So it's USA made technically, but a lot of the parts are sourced overseas. So it's got to be like 51%. The way they list it is, I think parts are, I think most of their parts are from Taiwan, but just because I think they have some other knives that are actually made over in Taiwan. But this one is put together here in the US. But it is a knife and pry tool, basically. It's supposed to be a hard use knife. This is supposed to be a hard use, tough, USA made budget knife. Now, let's get into it. So the blade is actually S30V, which is really good for this price. We have a steel liner lock, G10 scales, and it is built pretty tough. We have a glass breaker on the back, full back spacer all the way up, and the stop pin is really solid. Nice big stop pin. Lockup, nice solid lockup, no play any direction, and it is riding on Teflon washers, which a hard use knife probably should be, because that is going to be the most it's going to be the best through sand, grit, whatever. Teflon just keeps kicking. It just stays really, really smooth. And the more you use a Teflon washer knife, the smoother it gets. Now, I can flick it. It's using this like stair step thumb disc thing. So you can... Normally I can reverse flick it. You can reverse flick it. It is very smooth. I actually just tightened up the pivot a little tiny bit. It does have a proprietary pivot with T6 hardware. I'd rather see T8s, and I'd rather see a T8 pivot instead of a proprietary hardware. This isn't too hard to do though. You can find something at a hardware store that'll get that. But the action is very smooth. Like, it is very, very smooth. Now, the one little thing, though, which I'm not sure if it's a big deal to you or not, depending on what you're using the knife for, I can easily thumb flick it, but it scrapes on the way out. So, it has a chisel edge, not a chisel grind, but it has like a little wedge up here in the front that's like a scraper and a pry bar. Scraper pry tool. It's not sharp up here, but it does come down to like a zero grind. So just like a chisel, basically, without an edge. So there's no edge on here, but it's still pretty sharp. You could definitely put an edge on there, but it's going to be good for scraping, prying, things like that. Then you have an edge on one side, which you could lower down to, a really low angle to make it extra slicey. Access to the lock bar is really good. It does lock up really solid. It is very smooth. More of a slow rolling type of action. But, before I tightened the pivot, it was pretty easy to reverse flick and thumb flick. In the left hand, you don't get the scrape, though, because the way the chisel is, up here. Now, the clip is reversible for tip up and tip down carry, and it comes with it tipped down. I didn't like that, so I switched it to over here. Now, the problem with that is that it is very high and pokey right here. So in the hand, it lands right in a bad spot for me. I can move my hand and adjust to where it's okay, so it's not that big of a deal, but it is an easy fix from the company. I don't know why they didn't bend this down a little bit better. The clip will work fine. It is in set, but one other issue I had was when I moved it from here to here, you can see it doesn't fit in that hole perfectly. I tried to get it down, and it is lopsided now a little bit. One side is raised up higher than the other. The other side is inset. One side is not. Yeah, I could get in there and I could literally cut it out, the G10, and make it fit. So it's not that big of a deal. Trace right where it needs to go, and fix it. But I shouldn't have to. Shouldn't have to. This spins. I was trying to remove it, but I don't see no area to remove it, but it just basically spins. Maybe if I took the knife apart, I'd be able to take it off. But it doesn't just come off. Can I tighten it up? I don't think so. Not sure how it's on there, but it's got a little wiggle to it. One thing that's kind of cool though is that if you look, the holes for the clip go all the way through. You can actually get oil in on, maybe I don't know if the light will hit it right, but you can see the handle coming past right there. You can actually drip oil in there to the Teflon if you really wanted to. You know, I don't know how well it would hit it, but I don't know. I thought about it. Whether it's a good idea, I don't know. But Teflon does really good dry because it has the best self-lubrication, and what that means is that its surface is very slick. So with very little lubrication, it stays slick for a long time. So even when it's bone dry, it is smooth. And actually, in many cases, after you've lubed it or greased it, grease works really good, it will only get smoother and smoother. And then after it dries up, it's in many cases it's at its smoothest when it's very dry. Now, I didn't have any lock stick, but right now I'm experiencing a little tiny bit. But like I said, before I started the video, I did mess with the pivot and stuff, so it's not bad. Oh no, it's fine. But yeah, I think it's unique. You know, and that's one thing I really liked about it because, you know, I did construction my entire life. And tools like this were always very functional. You know, this is something I could totally see myself using on the job site. You know, if I had to open up a box or cut a strap, or if I'm up on a ladder and I need to pull up a staple that's underneath some shingles or something, and my razor blade won't work, or, you know, maybe my pry bar's down in the ground, you know, you can wedge this underneath, you know, and kind of pick at it or something, or maybe you need to scrape some caulk off of something or a sticker, who knows, so many different things. But little scraping pry tools work great. In my pouch, I always had a little mini pry bar, and I always had a knife on me, you know, and a razor blade. You know, the razor blade is great for all the hard duty tasks, the things that are just going to chew your edge up no matter what, but that never stopped you from needing a longer cutting tool. Something that could actually cut through deeper, thicker things, you know, like say if you had foam, you know, or something that was 2 inches thick, a razor blade's not going to work good for that. Now, yeah, they have the expandable razor blades, but actually a lot of companies won't even allow you to use those. So it depends on your company. Now, the companies I worked for didn't matter, but we knew that they were notorious for breaking and, you know, that flying towards your eyes and stuff. So having just a good, nice cutting tool that's your pocket knife, and you're not always on the job site, so you don't always have your tool belt on you, but you're still always running into little tasks, you know, little things that you need your knife for. So carrying a knife is a must in my opinion. These thumb discs are very grippy, so just pulling up right here, it does grip me pretty good. And like I said, you can reverse flick it or just thumb flick it because it's nice and grippy. They have a unique feel to them, so you can shoot the pressure straight up when you use it. You can just shoot it straight up. Works great. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at this. I don't know. You know, it's growing on me more and more. It's ugly as sin. It is very ugly. But I understand it, and I like it, and it is built somewhat decent considering some of the other knives I've tried out. Whether it's really a hard use tool, whether it can handle any real prying, I don't know. But light duty prying is a common thing, you know. Just because you're prying with a tool doesn't mean you're prying doors, you know, and things like that. You know, you can pry little light duty trim and a quarter round and things like that that don't require much, you know, effort. So this could be such a useful tool. And yeah, I do think it's pretty cool. I'm not sure if it'll wind up on the list. I didn't plan on showing you guys anything that would actually show up on the top 5 best EDC knives under $100, but we'll see how it goes. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.